It's one of the most common and comforting sounds in a dog owner's life. That deep, rumbling groan as your best friend curls up on their bed or collapses in a happy heap at your feet after a long walk. It's a sound that seems to fill the room with a sense of peace and finality, the perfect end to an active day. We hear it so often, we barely even notice it. But have you ever stopped to truly listen, to translate what that sound actually means? For many of us, that groan is just background noise, the familiar soundtrack of our lives with a dog. We assume it's a sign of contentment, the canine equivalent of a human sighing as they sink into a favorite armchair. And very often, we're right. However, nestled within that familiar rumble can be a hidden message, a quiet communication that we are missing. Because not all groanings are created equal. One is a signal of pure, blissful comfort. The other is a subtle, early warning sign, a quiet request for help that thousands of owners misinterpret every single day. Understanding the difference isn't just a fun fact for dog lovers. It's a critical skill for any pet parent who wants to ensure their dog is living a happy, pain-free life. So today, we're going to become audio detectives. We're putting on our translator headphones to decode this crucial canine cue. First, let's talk about the good groaning. This is the sound we all know and love. The groan of contentment. Think of it as a pressure release valve for pure happiness. This groan is typically a low-frequency, drawn-out sound. It's more of a rumble, or a deep, resonant sigh that comes from the chest. It's the sound of every muscle in your dog's body finally letting go. The context is everything here. The contentment groaning almost always happens after the main action is over. Your dog has circled their bed 3 times, pawed at the blankets, and finally plopped down into the perfect position. They aren't moving anymore. They have settled. It's in that moment of stillness, as they sink into their spot, that you'll hear it. This sound is the physical result of total relaxation. As their muscles go from tense to loose, the diaphragm relaxes, and a large pocket of air is slowly pushed out of the lungs. It's an involuntary, physiological response to comfort and security. It's your dog's body saying, "Ah, yes, this is the spot. I am safe. I am comfortable. All is right with the world." You'll often hear this after positive experiences. Following a delicious meal, a vigorous game of fetch, a satisfying training session, or simply when they curl up next to you on the sofa. Your presence is a huge trigger for contentment groans. When a dog feels safe and bonded with their human, they are more likely to fully relax and let out these happy sighs. The body language that accompanies a contentment groaning is the final piece of the puzzle. Look for a soft body. Their eyes might be half closed or fully closed. Their ears will be in a neutral, relaxed position, not pricked up or pinned back. Their body will be loose, like a sack of potatoes, not stiff or rigid. You might even get a gentle tail thump against the floor, a slow, rhythmic metronome of happiness. This combination, the deep, low sound, the post-settling timing, and the relaxed body posture, is an unmistakable signal. It means your dog is in a state of canine bliss. You are doing a fantastic job, and your dog feels secure, loved, and incredibly comfortable. It's a sound every dog owner should cherish. But what happens when the sound changes? What if it's no longer a deep, peaceful rumble? What if the groan happens not after they settle, but during the awkward, clumsy process of lying down? This is where our translation skills become truly vital. Because while one groaning says, "I'm happy," the other one is often saying, "I hurt." This is the groaning of discomfort. And it's a completely different animal. It's your dog's attempt to communicate that something is wrong, and it's often one of the very first signs of underlying health problems, especially those related to aging and joint pain. The differences are subtle, but once you know what to listen for, you can't unhear them. First, let's analyze the sound itself. Unlike the deep, chesty rumble of contentment, a pain-related groan is often higher in pitch. It can sound more like a grunt, a sharp exhalation, or even have a slight whimper or whine mixed into it. It's shorter, more forced, and less relaxed. Think of the sound a person makes when they try to lift something heavy, that involuntary oof or erg. That is the sound of a body under strain. Your dog is bracing for the discomfort that comes with moving or changing position. The timing is the most significant clue. Remember how the contentment groaning happens after they've found their comfy spot? The groan of discomfort happens during the action of lying down or getting back up. Watch them closely. Do they groan as they are bending their legs? As they are lowering their hips to the floor? Do they seem hesitant? Circling more than usual? or collapsing the last few inches instead of lowering themselves gently. This is a massive red flag. The groaning is directly connected to the movement itself, because the movement is what's causing the pain. You may also notice it at other times. They might groan when they shift their weight while sleeping, or when you pet them over a sensitive area like their hips or back. This isn't a groan of pleasure. It's an involuntary vocalization of pain. It's their body's automatic response to a sharp twinge or a dull, persistent ache. And this sound is often an early indicator of serious conditions. Conditions like osteoarthritis are incredibly common, affecting an estimated 1 in 5 dogs, especially as they get older. It's a degenerative joint disease where the cartilage that cushions their bones wears away, causing inflammation, stiffness, and chronic pain. The act of lying down puts pressure on these sore joints in the hips, knees, and spine, forcing out a painful grunt. Another common culprit is hip dysplasia, a genetic condition where the hip joint doesn't form correctly, leading to instability and pain. For a dog with dysplasia, the simple act of folding their legs to lie down can be an agonizing process. That groan you're hearing is a direct translation of that struggle. It's not just a random noise. It's a symptom. And the key is understanding that the groan is just the tip of the iceberg. It's the audible sign of a much deeper, invisible problem. A problem that your dog can't just tell you about with words. So how can you be sure? How can you tell if that nightly grunt is the sound of a happy dog, or the first cry for help from a dog in chronic pain? The distinction lies in a pattern of behavior, a collection of other subtle signs that often accompany the groan of discomfort. You have to look beyond the sound and observe their entire body, their daily routines, and their willingness to do the things they once loved. The first clue is often a change in their energy. A dog in pain might not be as enthusiastic about walks, playtime, or even greeting you at the door. They might hesitate before jumping on the sofa, or avoid stairs altogether. You might notice them licking a particular joint obsessively, or see them struggling to find a comfortable position, constantly shifting and resettling. These are all classic, textbook signs of physical discomfort. But what if the signs don't add up? What if your dog is young, athletic, and has a clean bill of health from the vet? What if they groan not when they lie down, but when they are fast asleep, their legs twitching in the middle of a dream? This is where our translation gets truly strange, because we're not just decoding physical sensations anymore. We're venturing into the landscape of the canine mind. This leads us to the third and most mysterious sound, the groan of emotional distress. It's not about a happy body or a hurting body. It's about a worried mind. What are they groaning about in the dead of night? Are dogs capable of experiencing nightmares? Can a sound from their past echo in their dreams, causing a deep, involuntary moan of fear? The answer is a resounding yes, and the source of this anxiety might be hidden in plain sight, in an object you see every single day. That object is the leash. To a happy, well-adjusted dog, it is the key to the world, a symbol of adventure and joy. But for a dog with a traumatic past, a dog who was pulled, tethered, or abandoned, the leash is a scar made of leather and steel. It is a physical reminder of a time they were powerless. And in the quiet sanctuary of sleep, where the conscious mind lets go, the subconscious unspools these painful memories. That groan you hear in the dead of night is the echo of a nightmare. It's the sound of them reliving the pull of the rope, the loneliness of being tied up, the sheer terror of being left behind. This groan isn't from the body at all. It's the soul crying out, translating a deep-seated anxiety that daylight and a loving home are still working tirelessly to heal. It is a ghost from their past, haunting the safety of their present. The deep rumble of contentment, the sharp grunt of pain, the haunted moan of a bad dream. These are not just noises. They are distinct words in a language we have the privilege to learn. I am comfortable. My body hurts. My mind is afraid. Each sound is a profoundly different story, demanding a different response. Your dog is speaking to you, constantly. They speak with their groans, their sighs, their tail wags, and the quiet flickers of their eyes. They are telling you the story of their body, their mind, their joy, and their history. Our job is not to be their masters, but to become their most compassionate translators. To listen with more than just our ears, to see with more than just our eyes, to feel with our entire heart, and finally, truly hear what they're trying to say. Because every sound is a piece of the puzzle, a clue to giving them a better, more understood life. The story of your dog is the greatest one you'll ever learn to read. To decipher more of their secret language, from the twitch of a whisker to the meaning of a bark, subscribe to Canise.